I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com show, a weekly geek news podcast that is a part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome for the second time to episode 444 of the All Things Good and Nerdy show, recorded live on Sunday, April 25th, 2021. I'm Chris, and if you're catching this either live on Twitch right now or as the video version on YouTube, you're probably going, what the hell does he mean second one? Well, friggin' Microsoft Windows updates. I forgot they happened. It changed all my default settings, so no audio was going out for the first 15 minutes of the show we broadcast. So we said, F it, we're going to rebroadcast again. Isn't that right, Mr. Willie Nelson?
I thought you said we're going to fix it in post.
If I had a way to fix it in post, I would have done it, but I was not doing local recording. My backup was not in place. So that's my fault. Isn't that right, Mr. Bachman?
So fucking nice we do it twice. Damn right.
I mean, that works too. We can look at it from the positive side, that it's so nice we're going to do it twice. I like that thought.
Damn right. And if you joined us on the pre-show, you heard nothing. So eat a dick. It was just us talking to ourselves. Ha ha!
Why do they have to eat a dick?
Because I said so.
I don't want them to eat a dick unless they want to. I mean,
Yeah,
if you want to eat a dick.
if it's something you
go
want to do,
for it.
feel free, I guess. But if you don't feel like you have to either. We're all about
I mean, unless
freedom
you
of
want to
choice.
listen to this asshole over here.
Yeah, no one should listen to that asshole.
Look at him. Looks all puckered. Looks a little prolapse, actually.
Dear
Oh,
Lord.
oh.
Oh, dear Lord.
What
So,
pink sock you got going on over there?
It's not good. It's
since
not
everyone
good.
missed our pre-show conversation, just a couple highlights real quick before we start moving on. We talked about Lego's version of Kickstarter, for lack of a better term, where fans can create their own sets and have them get upvoted so that Lego may potentially make them. Willie was not aware of this program, and it was interesting. So, go Willie. And then I don't know what the rest of the stuff is we talked about because I
Go,
just
Willie,
blanked
for
out
your
in
ignorance.
rage.
God.
Sorry, what, Willie?
Yeah, go Willie for your ignorance.
It's not
about
ignorance.
Legos.
We told you about something you didn't know about, and it's not like it's
I mean,
unheard of that people
the
would.
definition of ignorance?
I mean, we weren't looking at it in a negative connotation. It's more we told you about something that's cool out the internet. Out there on the internet that you can go experience for yourself now.
Wait. This is a learning moment. Is the word ignorance, does it have to be in a negative context?
No, it doesn't. But people
No.
generally
I
assign a
was asking
negative
for real
connotation
from what
to.
you said. I was really thinking
Yes.
it
Yeah,
did.
because the definition of ignorance is literally not being aware of something.
But people assign a negative connotation to it in a lot
Yeah.
of cases now.
And what we do here on a weekly basis is try to slowly whittle away at Willie's ignorance.
Yeah, let me just get all my knowledge in the past 6 years. Let me just go find all that.
Well, there's going to be a lot of Tim Tom stories.
We've taught you a bunch of stuff.
We taught you about
all
Invincible.
about Legos
In the just today?
Well, I
and
mean,
AEW wrestling.
recently.
You learned a lot.
yeah, we talked about AEW wrestling.
Oh, I tuned that out.
That's not our fault.
We're trying to take you to a better path.
You know the path I want to take?
I'm afraid to ask, but I'm going to. What path do you want to take, Willie?
Get out of my head and get over here.
How about get out of my dreams and into my car?
I don't know the reference.
Fair enough.
There's a song used in the movie License to Drive.
I was get out of my head and then into my car. Is it dreams?
Yes, get out of my dreams, get into my car.
Well, look who's fucking up already. Because I'm ignorant.
If I remember correctly.
Correctly?
Yeah, Billy Ocean. Get out of my dreams, get into my car.
Oh yeah, and if you that just also remind me what I usually say. Correct, if I recall correctly, that is from something everyone needs to see, which is it's like about 5 to 6 minute little clip of Eastbound and Down season 1 outtakes, mostly all with Will Ferrell being his Ric Flair character. Ashley Schaefer.
I seen what I loved was the gift this week I saw about a guy teaching a martial art technique where it literally talks about, making a fist with your thumb on the inside so that you don't hurt your hands when you punch somebody. And this other guy's like watching the video and doing the technique with him. He's like, and then you take your hands, you put them down about waist level, and you go a little to the left and a little to the right, and you kind of shake them back and forth, and then it literally turns to the video of Rick Ashley.
You said on the inside.
No,
right?
on the outside, not the inside.
You said inside, though, right?
No, you put them on the outside, not the inside, so as not to break your thumbs.
I mean, I know that. But I thought I heard you say inside. I was like, wait.
Because in the video, he shows you put them on the inside, and you'll break your thumbs. You put them on the
if
outside.
you put them on the okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you said he said.
Yeah,
She said, "I'm Fraggers."
The mini video is awesome because it starts with like what looks like martial arts instruction and turns into a Rick Ashley Rickroll. Like it's so fucking good.
The song that has scarred many a generation because they're thinking, "Oh, I'm going to see something really cool." Oh,
Yep.
It's a Rickroll. Shit.
Mini a generation.
Yes, because for a while there it was, "Hey, I just found out this awesome spoiler about movie X. Come check it out for yourself." Or trailer dropped early for something, and you'd click the link, it'd take you to YouTube, and you'd get Rickrolled.
How long is a generation?
Varies.
Roughly 30 years.
Yeah, the Rickroll didn't start until like 2008.
So, but it could span across multiple generations that fell victim to Rickrolling.
Well, I know I'm Gen X and we've been Rickrolled.
And
I know millennials have been Rickrolled.
And Willie,
there's
we're
a new
millennials,
generation of teenagers right now. So, yeah, at least
Yeah.
I would give Chris generations. Generations have been Rickrolled.
Because remember, Willie, as shameful as we may find it, you and I are both considered millennials.
So the greatest generation really was a multitude of generations?
The greatest generation were those that fought in World War II, and most are all dead.
Yes.
Yeah, but that also would be in many generations, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If we use the same logic.
And now if we've made your brain hurt successfully, we've done our job for the day, everyone.
And know that we're never going to give you up.
Or let you down.
I don't know. I mean, my wrist is kind of weak right now. I might not hold on too tight.
You were keyed up for...
I'm not going to do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
No. Just leave it at that.
I'm just repeating what you
They
said.
can fill it in their head. It's for them to do it inside their own head.
And we don't have
Fuck
to
you, I
pay
won't
for
do
the
what you
music.
tell me.
There you go. He's not
I'm
going to
just
do
trying
it.
to tell you how to do it right.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
I can't argue with that logic. I really can't.
This reminds me of the DX song.
X gonna give it to you.
No,
man.
no,
I have
not DMX.
Well, too bad, because DMX is better. And I've loved all the nice things I've heard about Russell Simmons this week.
I never said anything bad about it. I'm just saying I was specifying the one and not the other. That's all I was getting at. So wolf to you.
Apparently, he made lots and lots of trips to orphanages because he was apparently a product of the state and an orphan. But the one I had not heard about that I heard on Greg Proop's Smartest Man in the World podcast is apparently DMX would routinely make stop-offs at a local homeless shelters for men in New York City and just like basically try to cheer people up. Like he would, stop in a homeless shelter and just, talk to homeless men and try to fucking make their day better. Like literally that's all he was there doing. Like he wasn't, trying to promote anything. He wasn't trying to, boost his album sales or some bullshit. He was literally just going by places like that, knowing how hard his life was and trying to fucking, just make people's day better. Yeah, it's like a lot of public figures. He had a lot of problems, but apparently he was just a really fucking good guy deep down, which is really kind of cool to hear. Someone that had a public persona where he was a real tough guy. DMX, a big tough guy. Yeah, apparently he just spent a lot of time trying to fucking make people's lives better with the money and celebrity he had, which is awesome.
Are you saying his public persona was going to give it to you?
Oh yeah, he's gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you.
See, Chris, I was thinking of how to work a joke in there, but you know what? I thought it was just not gonna work right. It was just gonna sound forced, and so I thought Willie thought against doing a joke.
Oh wow. Willie thought.
Willie, yeah, that's what I keyed off of is Willie
I'm
thought.
surprised.
Willie, are you kicking
I'm
yourself now for
ignorant.
not
I'm not
making the joke?
nearhead.
Are you mad that you didn't make the joke now?
No, I don't think it should have been made.
Willie, comedy expert.
That's true. Oh wait, Earl Simmons.
Out of us
Simmons
three,
Yeah, you did.
Russell
yes.
Simmons is the guy that run Def Jam. Yeah,
Yeah.
Earl Simmons was DMX. My bad. I knew it was Simmons. My brain flipped to the wrong
Oh,
Simmons.
so
Earl
Gene
Simmons.
Simmons.
Gene Simmons. Yeah, the guy with the long tongue. Rapper.
Oh,
Of
Richardson.
the Rough Riders. Yeah, wore the tiny booty shorts. They're all one person.
He has the greatest chia pet.
There's a crazy amalgamation. Mixed together Earl, Russell, Gene, all the Simmons is one person.
Are we going to have a Simmons fight like they had a Josh fight?
That could be funny.
I thought that was entertaining this week, the Josh fight. It was fun. Do you guys know
I
what I'm
mean,
talking about?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I know. I wish it was more. I wish it was between a bunch of Richards.
So there was a meme that came out like a year ago, and it was like a Facebook Messenger group, and it was like all Joshes. And they said, hey, we're going to have a fight for the who can have the name Josh when it's all said and done. And a year later, they'd shared GPS coordinates and stuff. There were a bunch of folks named Josh that showed up at these GPS locations to fake
Jesus.
fight. It wasn't a real fight, but fake fight to determine who was going to be the sole remaining Josh. And I think it was a 5-year-old kid that ended up winning when it was all said and done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually,
There could
here,
be
let me
only one.
specify some more on that. Technically, it started a year ago to the date of the fight. A Josh sent a bunch of other Joshes in a Facebook Messenger group. I don't even know how many Joshes. I don't remember how many. But he said, in 1 year, you have 1 year prep time. Pretty much, and gave him like longitude and latitude, saying meet here at such time in 1 year. And then pretty much, if you look up those coordinates, it will like on Google Maps, it will just say Josh fight location.
Nice.
And there were a bunch of Joshes that showed up in
Oh, yeah, they had a
various
bunch
levels of cosplay. Some were there as like Obi-Wan. I saw a couple Obi-Wan Kenobis. I saw a couple Spider-Mans, things like that. And they had a fight to the death, air quote, with pool noodles.
Well, the best part about it was someone actually had a bracket they had up, and it just had Josh, and Josh went to the next round, then Josh went to the next round, and then the two Joshes at the end, and then one Josh won. Yeah, I mean, he probably could have made that beforehand and not be wrong, which is the best part.
And from what I recall, the ultimate victor was a 5-year-old kid who was the final winner.
know his age.
That's what I'd seen in the news story I read on it.
Or at least from what he looked like to me.
That's what the news story said was 5-year-old.
And once again, I'm ignorant Willie. I don't know this. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Well, see, and I just Googled Ultimate Josh Showdown because I got the mad Google foo, and apparently a 4-year-old emerges as winner of Ultimate Josh Showdown in the Josh versus Josh battle.
Close.
So
to
I was
it's
more
actually
right than
4.
Chris. My ignorance won out.
No.
No, I think we were equally
I just
wrong.
don't want to say yes.
I said he looked close to 5. You said exactly 5.
My bad. How wrong.
So
of me.
I was technically more right.
Whatever. If Willie's more right, then the world's going to end.
Well, I mean, the world's going to end eventually no matter what.
Okay,
I'm
we're
more
still
right
alive.
A lot, actually. Thank
still
you.
alive.
The world should have been
World
dead
didn't end.
20 times over, at least in the last week.
What were you right about this week, Willie?
Some of those things I can't repeat on air.
Then there's no evidence, and we'll say you were
That
wrong.
won't fit. Well, let's try and find out. Oh, look, it fits.
And that's how Willie plunged his toilet properly.
Heyo.
I do not call the women I go with toilets. That's weird.
Whoa.
I was not. Whoa.
I'm not into water sports.
Whoa.
Unlike it sounds like you are, Chris.
No.
Whoa.
Get your goggles on.
Whoa.
Because it's going to be a Laura
No.
Kelly.
I was
Get
trying
your
to
shit.
obscure what you were talking about
Get
by
your
saying
shit,
you were
put
talking
it all
about
together.
fixing a toilet.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yes, because anyone who's listening had no idea what I was talking about. Like, oh, wait, he could have been confusing that with something else. Yes, it's just innuendo.
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 Had to be done. I apologize.
All right, Blade.
Had to be done. There's no stopping it, just like there's no stopping this.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Welcome to the news of the week. It's that part of the show where we run down what's in our minds some of the most interesting geeky and or nerdy news to have popped up here in the last week and share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date. Willie, you look very confused. What's wrong, buddy?
I mean, not that athletic of a person. Do I have to run?
You could jog.
You said run down the news. I don't want to run down anything. I'm not going to catch it.
Rundown is not a term that necessarily means you have to run, but thank you.
Oh,
I see.
I get it. Yeah, you're right. I am run down.
I see what he did there.
I do too. Now I'm sad. You know what's going to make me feel better? Listening to Mr. Bachman tell us all about Mortal Kombat.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure that's going to make you feel better?
There's going to be comedy, at least, in the way you review it.
Test your might and we'll find out.
Test your might. Mortal Kombat. Oh, one of the best things about this movie, I will be honest, go on Twitter and read David P. Post, one of our favorite writers, tweets about it as he watched it with his girlfriend the other night. He did running commentary on some of the questions she asked, like at the start of the movie, where she asked him, is the whole movie going to take place in the 1600s? He's like, yes, honey, this is a period piece. Mortal Kombat's a period piece set in 1600 Japan. So for those that, it's definitely possible. A lot of people don't know, but Mortal Kombat is the movie of the month over on HBO Max. So it was released on HBO Max. So, a couple people went and saw it in the theater. Apparently it's actually not doing too bad with, most theaters still barely reopening. But we got a new version, a new reboot, a new restart of the Mortal Kombat franchise with a slew of fantastic actors. Some of them fairly well known if you've been watching basically any current show with martial arts. You've got Louis Tan from the Badlands. You've got Makad Brooks from Supergirl. You've got Joe Taslim from the Warrior show on HBO Max that was based on Bruce Lee's writings. Tadano Asano, who I just figured out today is actually Hogun from the Thor movies. Lots of really good, talented martial arts actors that have been in a whole lot of stuff recently. Solid cast, some okay fighting, but I don't know. You got to rate it on two different scales. If you're looking at just it being a movie, it's not great. It's good. It's passable. I was not mad about my HBO subscription for the month having watched this. It's like, I don't need a refund. It's not that bad. But it's also, you got to remember, it's a video game movie. I mean, in 1995, I was one of those kids as a junior in high school that lost my mind leaving the theater after having seen Mortal Kombat because it was fucking crazy. And it had one of the best techno soundtracks of all time. They did, of course, bring back the old classic song. It shows up in there. All the solid lines, all the little, the Scorpion get over here, which, like we've already talked about, was in the trailer. Like, a lot of the good stuff was actually in the trailer. But it's just, this one it's so weird. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's not a bad watch. I would honestly say, last month, if you like giant monsters punching each other, it was worth getting HBO Max for a month just to watch Godzilla vs. Kong. Sadly, I would say if you're thinking about getting HBO Max or doing a trial for the month, wait for another month until a better movie's on that you really want to see, because this is not the month to do it. It's not bad. It's passable. It was an entertaining Friday night. I mean, my girlfriend wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm definitely not going to say it was the most. It's not even the most fun Mortal Kombat movie I've ever seen. So I mean that tells you this. I guess when this one ranks number 2. Because I would say the first Mortal Kombat movie is my favorite, and then this is still better than the sequel. I mean, hell, at least this time Raiden's Asian. We got that going for us. It has some good parts, but one of the biggest things that was brought up was there's basically no tournament this time. Lord Raiden gets the good guys together. Shang Tsung already has the bad guys together, and just decides, hey, I'm going to start sending my bad guys to Earth to murder the Earth's champions before the tournament even starts. So there actually really is no tournament this time, which was kind of strange because the whole first movie is based on, I mean, a lot of it just played off of Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa's charm as Shang Tsung, and this Shang Tsung has no charm. Like, I think that was maybe the thing I was missing the most, because in that first movie, his Shang Tsung was really fucking like a charming like dude that was, you know, trying to screw over the Earth champions, but I don't know, just Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa is just such a great fucking actor that, I don't know, I love the way he did Shang Tsung in the original movie, to where he just, you know, always seemed pissed off, but at the same time was just a charming dude, you know, running the island and screwing people over, you know, convincing Johnny Cage to do dumb shit, you know, making Sonya Blade be stupid. But in this one, we get a much different version of Kano, as Willie has talked earlier. It's his entire personality is angry Australian, like that's all they give him. But the actor Josh Lawson does a great fucking job with it. He's actually entertaining. He's fun to watch. He's you know, the comedy relief for fucking, you know, the whole thing, and he's fantastic. Hiroyuki Sanada is the dude that was also just on one of my favorite HBO shows, Westworld. He played the samurai on that when they find the Eastworld characters. He plays Hanzo Hasashi and Scorpion, and he's fucking fantastic. The opening sequence between the two basically fighting ninja clans, where you get Scorpion versus Sub-Zero when they're fighting, when they're still basically human, and Sub-Zero's like slightly developing powers, is a great action sequence. Like, the fights in that are really good. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, it is sitting at a abysmal 55% rotten for the tomato meter and 87% audience score, which tells you all you really need to know about this movie, is that if you're a huge fan of the video games, you'll like the movie, which I think we all knew going in. If you're not a huge fan of the video games, it may not be your thing. There's, you know, 112 different random reviews on here, but there was one that I really liked. Where was it? Yeah. From Katie Walsh from the Tribune News Service. If you embrace that inner child, high on sugar and eye-popping violence, Mortal Kombat proves to be, while not quite a flawless victory, a fun one nevertheless. It's very simple. If you want to go see blood and guts and some people getting punched and kicked, this is the movie for you. If that's not what you're into, yeah, maybe skip it. This is, you know, it's not the best video game movie I've ever seen. It's sadly not even the best Mortal Kombat movie I've ever seen. But, you know, it's passable. I give it a 6 out of 10. It's got some fun stuff in it. It's got some other just weird things. And yeah, I don't know. Now I'm thinking back on like the whole missing tournament aspect of it, I think is maybe why like the storyline felt so weird. That, and they try to make you cheer for Louis Tan's character like he's supposed to be your in, because he's the one non-game character from Mortal Kombat. And like, spoilers, he's related to a character, but he's not a character from the game. And so you have him like trying to learn how to do his superpower, which apparently the whole focus of this movie is that every character that plays in Mortal Kombat has a superpower. Kano gets his laser eye, and they make it a really cool scene that's actually kind of funny. Fucking better than Fireball, you pussy. Like, you know, they do some stupid shit with it. But yeah, like the Louis Tan one, like, and it's never really explained like why they can be such different things. Like, it's one of those ones where this movie wants you to take a lot of just, you know, huge leaps of faith, but it's a video game movie, man. Like, they're not going for the Oscars here. Like, you know, it's punching, kicking, and people getting split in half by, you know, razor hats. It's, you know, it's exactly what people expected it to be if they already do anything about Mortal Kombat. So yeah, that's my news of the week.
I haven't seen it yet. Is the music as good as the original? Do we get
No.
Oh man.
This soundtrack will not be a #1 album the way the 1995 soundtrack was.
First of all, the best thing out of the first Mortal Kombat movie was the song. That's just hands down. That's the best thing. No matter anything else that's good. The puppetry in Goro is even second to the song Mortal Kombat from the movie.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, and the new Goro at least doesn't look like a really badly done puppet. I will give him that. The new Goro kind of works. Yeah, but there was something wrong with it. It looked like 4 different people were puppeting him from different rooms and couldn't see what they were doing.
Are you telling me you can look at Johnny Cage doing a split and knocking him right in the nuts, and you didn't like laugh at his face.
No, the facial stuff was fine. It was the 4 different arms that seemed to move interdependent and had no idea that they were all in the same body.
I guess that's fair. I would have to go back and see it again. Because the only picture I have of him is the face he makes after he gets hit in the nuts.
As one thing I will say, Makad Brooks, who, if you've been watching Supergirl, is Jimmy Olsen in the CW Superman world. He got, pardon the pun, but fucking jacked for this movie. He plays Jax, and with his mustache in this movie, he looks literally zero. He looks nothing like Jimmy Olsen. It is so amazing how much he transformed as an actor for this role by adding what looks like 40 pounds on his arms just to have them ripped off, and then grew a crazy mustache. But he looks nothing like the Jimmy Olsen from that show, and he actually puts in a solid performance as Jax. Makad Brooks was actually really impressive in this movie.
I just want to add in one specification. It looks like he added 40 pounds to each arm.
Yeah, to each, like, he got big as hell. I mean, he wasn't exactly tiny playing Jimmy Olsen. Like, he wasn't. Dude's buff. But he shows up in this at Jax, and at first I didn't realize it was him because that's how different he looks. He's still a large black man with a shaved head. But honestly, with the added mustache and the extreme amount of muscle mass that he put on his body, he looked so different in the first scene. I was like, oh shit, that is Makad Brooks. God damn, he looks big as hell.
I didn't recognize.
Man looks like a freight train.
In the trailer, I didn't recognize him. Like when the trailer first dropped, and then I was reading an interview, like Makad Brooks from Supergirl. I'm like, wait, what? And I rewound it and went, holy shit, that is him. It just because he looked so big compared to my personal image in my head of how I still saw him from when he was on the show. Yeah. And I had to do a double take and go, that is him. Holy crap, dude put in some work.
And what's funny is he wasn't small as Guardian. Like, he played Jimmy Olsen in Guardian. Like, he was never small on that show. But he got so fucking big for this. He looks like a different person. Like, he got fucking big. So, yeah, if you just want you some fucking beefcake shots of Makad Brooks and whoever the Ludi Lin, I don't know who this guy is, but the kid that plays Liu Kang. And the one scene where he does, like, the Bruce Lee flex.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you can see his fucking vertebrae and his spine. He's so jacked. Like, that kid has no fat on his body.
His body fat's in the negatives.
Yeah, you lose body fat looking at this kid. That's how in shape he is. It is amazing. So yeah, I don't know where the hell they found this badass, but yeah, his version of Liu Kang was very strange. But yeah, the kid is just amazing.
I was super happy that Liu Kang was not the main character.
Okay, wow, yeah. So he is. I was checking on his IMDb. So he was Zack the Black Ranger in the new Power Rangers. He was Captain Merc in the new Aquaman. So I know I've seen him on that, but I guess I don't remember him from Aquaman. But apparently he was also Lance. So he is the Ryu character in the Black Mirror episode. Fighting Vipers.
Oh yeah, Anthony Mackie's person.
Yeah, the character that Anthony Mackie
Anthony Mackie's person.
So yeah, that makes sense because in that he looked like a video game character. He didn't look human. Like that kid was so cut. Like that kid is in damn good shape. So yeah, hell, you can give it 7 stars if you just want to go watch some beefcake because there is some beefcake in this movie. I'll give him that.
And there's some good beefy fatalities.
Mm-hmm. And what one animality, which is his, because he calls up the dragon.
Did they bring in the babalities, or they turn them into children?
There were no babalities that I saw.
Wasn't it technically elementality? I mean, it was still a fire.
Yeah,
it was still fire.
It was a fire dragon.
I mean, it wasn't the dragon. I mean, the dragon was just made of fire. It's not like it took on scales and all that.
Yeah, but yeah, just it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. But hell, it was a way to pass an evening.
I'm not even gonna rate it. It's
a video game movie.
Dumb
people
fun.
Don't expect
so much.
Want
dumb fun? There you go.
So I think Willie's rating system is: would you rewatch it? I guess is the better thing. Is it something you'd rewatch?
I want more.
Okay. There you go. So in Willie's mindset, he had fun with it and wants more. Nothing wrong with that.
I might rewatch it at some point. I would rather rewatch for Godzilla vs. Kong, but this is I might watch it again at least one more time in a while.
what I really want to see is a supercut of Godzilla versus Kong with the Rampage movie. Just supercut it all together.
I was curious to see how they're going to tie AEW stuff into this coming out on HBO Max, because they did like Godzilla versus Kong. They did their own riff on a Godzilla versus Kong kind of match by having like a Luchasaurus versus the Backcountry Bears or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they didn't actually do anything explicitly, but I did see, I guess, evidently Miro had arranged a screening of this movie like a week early for the entire locker room. So they rented out a movie theater or a couple screens, I guess, and took the entire company basically to go see Mortal Kombat. Now I'm sure that they basically said, hey, this would be something cool, and we'll tweet about it so you guys will get some traction about it, because they're all owned or working under Time Warner. So it was
there
cool.
you go.
There's your wrestling tie-in for this week, Willie. I'm sure you loved it.
Yes.
Oh, like that's going to be it.
I'm sure I'll find another way to bring up more stuff if you want.
You already mentioned it before this.
Well, I mean, you do know Miro's the best man, right?
I don't even know who the
Best
fuck Miro
man.
is.
He's a video gamer.
He's the best man.
He's the
we
best
just
man.
told you.
No, my best man was named Chris.
Hi. Not me, though, right?
Deanda.
Okay, that's not me then. It's not me. Hey, Willie, why don't you go next with your news for this week?
Speaking of streaming services, there has been a little bit of a leak that came out that PlayStation is throwing its hat in the ring with throwing in a streaming service with their PlayStation Plus. Does it interest me? Kinda. Depends upon what's on it. Are they gonna? They haven't said if there's going to be any original content, but I'm curious to see what they. I mean, in the past, Sony even got, what was that show? Was it Powerless?
Powerless, I think, is what it was, or something.
Yeah, I know it was Power.
No,
somewhere.
the show is called Powers.
Oh, is that what it was?
Also, it was Powers.
My
Yeah,
bad.
that was
Brian
on
Michael
Sony
Bendis.
exclusively.
Yep. Yeah, they did one season of the show where it was cops that arrested people with superpowers in a world where there were superheroes.
That's right. And because the trailer is like him punching a glass, because the dude had powers and lost them. I forget even how.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want
Diamond.
my powers. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, about 3 days ago, they ran it into test to test the waters with it in Poland. So we should get Sailor Poland here to see if he saw it.
Has any connections there? I mean, it's interesting anytime someone says, oh, we're going to have a streaming service, because everyone's doing it nowadays. But the real question is, what's on it? I mean...
Well, Sony owns stuff. Sony Pictures owns stuff.
Right, but Sony Pictures is just like given up rights or sold rights to put their content on other services. And I'm sure there's probably some level of exclusivity on that, because I think it was you that shared it in our group chat this week that they sold streaming rights to a bunch of their movies that'll be on Disney Plus now. So like Jumanji and the Spider-Man movies eventually and stuff like that will be on Disney Plus.
I mean, could they not also put the Spider-Man movies on this as well?
It depends on how that contract was worded with Disney, I would assume.
Yeah,
I don't know the
that's what I was
exact wording of it. But if it's already in another place, the tough thing nowadays with streaming services is there's so many of them out there, and there's people that juggle them and turn them off and on. How do you launch a new service and have me, who's got, say, 5 services arbitrarily, I'm just throwing a number out there, say, oh my God, I have to sign up for this new service because it has something I want?
Well, to be fair, no joke, continuing on, included there, I would say this is just a part of your PlayStation Plus subscription.
If it's part of PlayStation Plus, I think that there's a value proposition there, which is I was getting this already to play video games. Oh, cool, I might be able to watch some content too.
Yeah.
And there's also saying at this stage, they cannot say whether it will be created and what the test process will look like for other markets. This is just a test to see how it will do. Why Poland, though, is what I want to know.
I mean, they probably have, solid numbers in there of, the number of citizens versus how many people have a PlayStation. And you have to pick some country to do a test market. It's not a big one.
That's smart.
Well, I mean,
you're not usually this smart.
And it's probably got something to do with
I've
how
had a lot of coffee this morning.
Yeah, how the demographics break down too. So
Yeah.
it's probably an ideal test market for what they're looking to do. And I wouldn't be shocked if they then decide to expand out to a few other places and see how things develop. Just because they're testing, though, something we should keep in mind, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen or get launched. It could be they do this test, doesn't gain enough traction, and they go, oh, this is not something we want to put the money into.
That's why they do tests. Yeah. Sometimes you test something and it disappears.
But they also say that it will be having about 20 movies and television shows from Sony Pictures, and it will be included with the PS Plus subscription already. So it's not like you have to subscribe to something else if you already subscribe to PlayStation.
So I guess... Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, I will be honest, if you haven't watched the show Powers, because they only did do the one season on the Sony PlayStation Network, it's a really solid, well-made show. It stars the guy that was in all of the Blomkamp films, District 9 and Chappie and Elysium. He was in all three of them because he works with that director all the time, but he stars as the main character, Diamond, who is now a cop, who used to basically be like a Superman type level character who loses his powers and then has to live in a world where he's just a basically human at this point and gets a job as a police officer arresting the people that like he used to fight with superpowers. It's a really well-made show.
Interesting.
So hopefully that'll be put on it. I guess you can still go on your PlayStation and download it.
I think you can still
anyway.
watch that show, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, they'll probably put that one up front again just because it's a show they made. Like Sony, I believe, actually paid and produced it. But yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
was
just
a
kind of
really good
wasting
show.
money just being in the store that you have
Yeah.
to look for it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other things I'd be interested to see is if it is only viewable content on a PlayStation or if they put an app out for other devices. Not necessarily because people don't have PlayStations are going to watch it because it's tied to PlayStation Plus, but more because, well, if I want my kids to be able to watch content, I may not have a PlayStation in the playroom, or I may not have a PlayStation in my bedroom when I want to watch some of this stuff at night. So putting an Android app out or an Apple TV app or a Roku app, those I could see being beneficial. But I guess, again, it turns into a trade-off of we're putting this service out there that's really just kind of an extra perk for PlayStation Plus. Is it really worth it money-wise for us to be making and maintaining apps for these other platforms for it, too?
On other
I don't know.
platforms. Yeah.
Because it just
I
doesn't
used to
make
watch
sense.
everything on my PlayStation, and I finally got myself a Roku because, like, it's annoying the fact that I can get the CW app on my phone, I can get it on my computer, I can get it on any fucking Roku or any other streaming device, but I can't get it on my PlayStation.
Guess what? You can get it on an Xbox.
That's fucking annoying. God damn it, Sony.
What's
So, yeah,
what
I
I
mean, yeah.
even want to watch on the CBS app?
The
CW.
CW app?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Superman, Flash,
The show Superman.
The new one
Superman
that's
and
out,
Lois.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just called Superman.
It's called Superman and Lois.
I still hate that title so much.
Yeah, well, it's like the ninth Superman TV show. They had to think of something
reminds
different.
me of the Adventures of Superman, or the Superman Adventures of Lois and Clark. That's all it reminds me of.
Side note,
Gary, Magic, come back.
Side note, the first 5 episodes of Superman and Lois are on HBO Max now, too. For anyone that may not have seen them already that has HBO Max. I just saw something on it last night on Twitter.
So why would you even want CBS All Access?
Well, no. Different. He's talking about the CW app. CBS All
CW
Access is different.
confusing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I have not
So-
mentioned CBS at all.
And the CBS app.
The C's
Yeah.
got me. You know, a pair of C's always confuse me.
That's true.
And friendly reminder, the CBS All Access app went away. It became Paramount Plus because everyone likes to have Plus in their name now.
Yeah. Which,
Is what it is. So for those that are
2010,
PlayStation
Plus was out.
for those that are confused, as we're talking about multiple apps like Willie was there, the CW app is a free app that allows you to watch the last 5 episodes of shows that have been aired on the CW network, but it is ad/commercial supported. So it'll still be a 60-minute program roughly, and you'll get 22 minutes, 18 minutes, whatever it is, of ads during the commercial breaks and stuff like that.
and they do still have some full shows on it, like the Swamp Thing one season that was done. I just finished watching that on the CW app where they literally have the entire season.
I think
So they're-
Constantine's on there still too, but I can't remember.
Yeah, because they picked that up from NBC, which is it's so weird. Like the fact that Matt Ryan played that character on NBC and then played the same character on a CW show, like that. The way that they made that licensing work is amazing.
Yeah, isn't it though? So go check it out for yourself. And if you're in Poland listening to us, send us some email or some tweets. Let us know how you're enjoying the new PlayStation streaming service, assuming you're allowed to talk about it. They could have you NDA'd so that you can't talk about it. Who knows?
Yeah, it probably is NDA'd.
Tell me some stuff. I want to know.
But yeah, I mean, the Xbox gaming thing is kicking the shit out of the PlayStation, so they need to do something.
I don't know that television and movies is the right way to compete against Game Pass, but
I don't know about that either, but
yeah, they're really worried about the NDA being, broken through on all things good and nerdy.
Hey, if it is
get better,
then we'll get some mainstream coverage if it gets broken on here.
We are banned in China.
That is true. We are banned.
We're
there.
big.
I think
We're
India
big.
we're probably banned also.
Yes,
because I think they also have rules against cursing. On
318 more countries to go.
Yeah, right. We'll get the rest of them soon enough.
My goal, we want to be banned in all countries. That's the goal. The first podcast banned in all countries.
I mean, it's not like we're going to get banned in America.
We can try.
It's not going to happen.
We can try.
If Alex Jones can't get fucking canceled, we're not going to get canceled.
Don't be a defeatist. We can try.
We'll try. We're going to make this happen.
I mean, I think I said a pretty good argument there.
You said Alex Jones, and I just blanked out because I don't care about
if he can't get canceled for his dumbass shit, what chance do we have of getting canceled?
He got deplatformed, though, which is the next closest
I want to be banned.
After how long?
I don't know. Don't ask me to understand how InfoWars junk works.
Mm-mm.
I don't even want to call by its name.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the next story because nobody cares about Alex Jones on this show.
Yeah, yes. I'm there with you.
Yeah, nobody cares. So this week on Friday was the finale of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll talk about that here in a sec. And
I have big spoilers coming.
Big spoilers coming. Presumably the series finale of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because, and here's one of the spoilers, it's retitled Captain America and the Winter Soldier as the show wraps. And then later that day, it was announced that Marvel has greenlit and is moving forward on a Captain America 4 movie. We didn't get a ton of details, but they did say that Malcolm Spellman, who has been the head writer and creator for the Disney Plus series, will be in charge of developing the 4th installment. He will also co-write the script with Dallin Musson, who is a staff writer on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now, the Hollywood Reporter broke this news originally. I'm just pulling up the article and skimming through it. They say no castings for the project are officially known, but this Friday's episode offers plenty of roads for the feature to take up. It's also it will continue the story of Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie, who wields the shield. But as the writers get to work, it will be interesting to see how the story unfolds, with there now being multiple people who have been Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because now we're up to 3 official Captain Americas, plus there was Isaiah Bradley, who was effectively his own Captain America, even if he never actually had the title in the eyes of the government. And all of them are technically still alive, because Chris Evans' Cap is still alive. He's just an old man.
Wait, for Isaiah, did anyone call him Captain America?
No, but if you've been in the comics,
I know the comics. We're not going there. I mean, you can if you want to. I'm just saying, but yeah, and just from based on the show, like, I don't think he even ever called. I don't think he even called himself that.
He didn't
want to.
He did not.
He
didn't want to. They continue on with the story saying no director has currently been attached. Chris Evans' involvement in return remains unconfirmed. I mean, if they could do a cameo with him and he'd be open to it, I'm sure they would make it happen. It's just a matter of whether he wants to come back as Steve in some way, shape, or form.
Well, his new contract says he'll only do it if you can wear a cable knitted sweater.
Right?
I mean, I think he'll come back. I mean, they're gonna do some kind of time travel story with what's his nuts, Kang. I'm sure he'll get pulled back in somehow, just to go right back.
That doesn't necessarily mean that I don't know that they're going to go that route with Captain America, because there's plot threads from Falcon and Winter Soldier that they could continue telling in a Captain America movie.
Well, I'm talking about like if they ever do like a with some kind of time travel, not for Captain America 4.
Okay, I'm tracking. You mean just in general in the MCU?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm tracking. We haven't heard anything else about who all may be showing up. I would assume Sebastian Stan will return as Bucky Barnes for this, seeing as they've established the buddy cop comedy trope between the two of them, and it's been a lot of fun. And people have enjoyed their interaction.
Oh my god, I didn't realize Bucky is too old for this shit.
Right? He's always too old for this shit.
He's 106. He's way older than Danny Glover.
So is it weird that he's trying to date someone his age that he looks?
Well, I don't know how much he was actually trying to date her.
I think, yeah, he was just trying to
He
flirt with her.
was
to piss
there
off Sam.
on the date.
Yeah, he kind of got forced into it, though, so it's more of I'm doing this because my buddy's kind of forcing my hand.
I'm sorry, she was beautiful. Why would you say no to that?
No, I'm not saying she's not, but I don't think that Bucky Barnes at that point in the show, early on, when he's still struggling with all the Winter Soldier memories, was in any position to be like, hey, I want to be in a relationship with someone. It was more, okay, my buddy's kind of pushing me into this. I'll do it because my buddy's pushing me into it. And I think if you watch that part of the show as it replays there, they both kind of realize, hey, we're just two people hanging out. That's all this is right now. That's more what I was meaning in that regard.
There.
It'll also be interesting to see in the Captain America 4 movie if John Walker makes an appearance, if Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, presumably Madame Hydra when she picks up the title, will make an appearance, or whether they push that off in other places. There's not much we know about what's coming other than the fact there's going to be a Captain America 4, which will be starring Anthony Mackie in the lead role because he is Captain America, and brings back one of the writers from the writer's room, brings back the showrunner from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I would not be shocked if most of the writer's room gets brought over potentially to help flesh things out with this script.
So here's a question.
Question away.
Do you think anything from these Disney shows have been altered or cut out because of the lateness of Black Widow coming out?
They have said that has not been the case on anything. Now, if you believe the rumors, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is supposedly going to get introduced in Black Widow, is what some people were reporting online. So that's pretty much the only thing we're kind of missing out on, is that character would have been introduced in Black Widow, and then when Falcon and Winter Soldier dropped, because I think it was originally supposed to come out like a month after Black Widow or something like that, that would have been the connective tissue between those two series.
That makes sense. I mean, either way, now we'll just see it the opposite way. So depending how her introduction's handled, it probably just might be one of those ones where it doesn't make a difference which of the two she showed up in first.
Yeah.
It's just that we know she's Hydra. So
yeah, we'll see what happens on it. Regardless, I was pretty excited by the fact that we're getting a spin-off movie. Well, not a spin-off. We're getting a movie continuation, and they haven't shut the door on another series, short-run series with these guys. And I do have to say, I kind of like how Marvel could have very easily just been like, hey, we're doing a Captain America 4, and Anthony Mackie's going to show up with the shield. And we wouldn't have gotten any of this background story on Sam kind of struggling with whether he should take up the mantle, him kind of going on that journey to realize, yeah, I should do this, and seeing how him and Bucky interact, and Bucky's kind of healing from being a Winter Soldier. So instead we got a 6-part miniseries that kind of fills us in so that we can have that movie where that's all in place already, and they don't have to step back and touch on any of that. Well, here's why Bucky finally decided that he's okay with Sam having given up the shield, and then Sam taking it back up. No, we got a series for that. Go watch that. The movie can just pick up and like, hey, remember Sam Wilson? Yeah, he's effing Captain America, and we're just starting the movie. I like that.
yeah.
The one thing I will say about the costume is it seems a little bit like Michael Keaton Batman, where he can't really use his neck too much. He has to move his whole shoulders like, what's over there?
Yeah, so, the costume. Let's talk about that. Let's actually get into Falcon and Winter Soldier too, because that ties into this news story. The costume is straight out of the comics. If you haven't seen it, you can put them side by side. And you're like, holy shit, that's basically the same costume, only they redid the gauntlets a little bit. So that instead of being all red like they were in the books, there's like a metal tone or something on them too.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty much straight up the Carlos Pacheco design.
Which is an awesome design. But the trade-off with that is you can make it look really cool and dynamic in comic book pages. And while I think it looks good, sometimes it looks a little strange on screen, especially like the head neck area. Like wearing that piece where just the ears are sticking out, it just looks strange. I understand why they did it because it's straight out of the comic, but I'm sure there'll be some minor revisions and tweaks to the costume by the time it appears again in some other Marvel content. It still looked really cool, and it was really awesome seeing Sam fighting in it, both in the air and on the ground. It's a nice costume.
Plus, it's a gift coming from the Wakandans, which is cool because it gives you a nice little, tie-in. But we might, by the time they actually do a Cap 4, What we might see is Sam doing alterations to the suit to make it fit him better. Because they could say that that's why it changes. They can be a little less comic accurate and give us a suit that, yeah, maybe he looks like he can turn his neck a little better. I mean, yeah, because the head stocking thing, it looks straight up from the comic, and it's great when you're drawing that. But making it actual material on an actor's head when they're on camera with lighting, it did leave just the tiniest bit to be desired. It looked a little strange in some of the shots, where it looked like Anthony Mackie might have been just a little uncomfortable wearing it.
Well, let's also remember they're not like 100% batting 1,000 rather when it comes to getting costumes right, because the Captain America costume in Avengers is still not great.
Yeah, it's my least favorite. The one from the first movie, it's so ridiculous that the first time he's wearing an actual battle suit, like the one where it's a soldier suit that's then basically painted to look like the Captain America colors, is better than what he shows up in Avengers. It's like, what the fuck?
Though the best Cap suit is still Endgame, where they actually put the chainmail in it, because that looks just really cool and badass to me.
That part is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still like the stealth Cap from, is it Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier, and then Infinity War too. Or no, it was Endgame. He wore it also.
Yeah, the stealth Cap suit is just, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel's really good about tweaking and changing the suits, and from a commercial and toy standpoint, nobody's suit remains the same from one movie to the next. So we already know that Sam's Captain America suit is going to change in some way, shape, or form when it comes to the movies, because nobody's costume remains intact, other than, I think Thor's costume was pretty much the same between Thor 1 and 2, only he took his sleeves off at one point in time.
And then the haircut.
Well, and his eyebrows weren't dyed blonde in Thor 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the
it
suit
is funny
was...
how, if you go back and look at the first Cap and the first Thor movies, like, Chris Evans is a straight up blonde. Thor is a straight up blonde. And then over the course of 3 films, each of them slightly made their character look more and more just like the actor and less like the comic book version of the character, so that nobody really complained. So that by the end of it, Chris Evans was barely dyeing his hair, and Thor, fucking Chris Hemsworth, wasn't dyeing anything. He was just growing his beard out and be like, yeah, I'm Fat Thor. Love it.
Well, I mean, he was Fat Thor wearing a wig, so...
Yeah, but I mean, like, it was awesome. It was like, yeah, the character became closer and closer to each actor as they progressed through the films, which was kind of funny. It's like, we don't want to dye them every day coming to set. It's annoying. So we'll just let them grow their normal beard colors.
And side note, Hemsworth is even more jacked for Thor: Love and Thunder, it looks like. Someone had talked to his...
because he's playing Hogan.
Yeah, well, also that, but someone talked to his stunt double, and the stunt double's like, yeah, he got more jacked, so I had to too. This was really hard, or something to that effect.
Poor stunt double.
So, all right, let's talk Falcon and Winter Soldier finale, wrapping things up. Dear God, the action continues to be fantastic in this show. The special effects are not what you would expect on a TV budget. They're what you'd expect in seeing on the big screen. And one of my favorite things they've done, and this goes through the entire run of this show, but it's even more noticeable near the end, is how Sam uses his wings and his jetpack to complement the fact that he's not a super soldier, that he's just a man. So, like, there's 2 different parts with the wings in particular that I think of. And the one of them is when he uses the wings like a shield and then puts the shield over top of his head to basically give himself a
bounce
solid
the helicopter.
cage. And then when he's fighting, I think it's Carly, he takes the wings and jams them into the concrete to give him additional leverage so that she can't knock him backwards. I'm like, that was really cool. And that makes sense. And we've seen him use the jetpack aspect to do like launched kicks, and he did like a shield bash with that too. And that was really cool. And that worked really well. And I want to see them do more of that. And it makes sense that Sam Wilson's fighting style should be very different from Steve Rogers or Bucky, because he's just a man. He doesn't have serum going through his veins that augments his strength and durability. So that's why you see him doing crazy weird flips and twists to get more momentum and finding different ways to catch the shield. Like a lot of him catching his shield, you see him like catching it and bringing his arm back with it. Whereas when Bucky catches the shield or Steve caught it, it was, okay, I've got it. Or just...
Yeah, because they have a super strength.
I got 2 things.
Go ahead.
One, I'm so happy he got like a jet-powered charging stars from fucking Marvel's Capcom 2. Stars and Strike. Yeah, all that is good. Yeah, but he got a rocket-propelled one. That was nice. And 2, did it weird anybody else out how easily just U.S. Agent was just forgiven.
So I think we have to read between the lines a little bit there on what went on. And in the eyes of the world, he's still a guy who was dressed as Captain America who killed a guy in the middle of town square. But you could argue he redeemed himself in a lot of people's eyes potentially by being involved in trying to rescue all of the GRC folks.
But no one how many people actually know what he did there?
Sam and Bucky know.
Sam and Bucky know. The folks that were rescued know, who are arguably powerful and politically influential, things like that.
When you say forgiven, he still has an other than honorable discharge, holds no rank as basically a veteran, and has no benefits, which is fucking
he was a
crazy.
Vigilante there.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's a vigilante at the end.
So and he's just saying, "Hey, how's it going? Hey,
it still looked
we
like
did
it took
it.
place in that
Yeah.
courtroom where when he puts on the U.S. agent suit. I didn't get why Madam Hydra and the wife were like in what looked like the same courtroom where he got dismissed from the military.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, that was the setting of that scene was the only thing that
on
confused me.
CGI.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I, like the girlfriend brought it up too, like because she was asking, she's like, "Wait, does this character have super serum? Does that character have superpowers?" And we were going back and forth about the stuff, and then when you see Sam when he catches the truck, because he's using the wings, he's using the jetpack, and then he uses the 2 extra engines that pop off Iron Man style and also lift the truck. I love the fact is like we were talking about, he doesn't have superpowers, and it's just a very small scene. But right as that truck lifts up and becomes stable, as he backs up, you see Sam grab his shoulder and he's like, ow. Like, that shit hurt. Because he's pushing a truck, and, like, you have to assume that the Wakandans made that exoskeleton with the wings really strong so that he could do something like push a truck with a jet engine on his back. But, like, he was still using human arms. And, like, he comes away from it going, fuck, that hurt. Like, that was not easy.
And prior to that, he'd been shot down into the river or whatever, too, and come out of that relatively looking unscathed. But that's still going to hurt, too, even if you land shield and wing side first. That's not going to be comfortable. They made a point of showing...
He's a superhero, but he's also human.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I mean,
he's mortal.
They did a good job finding, like, that in-between aspect of it. Because, yeah, he's still a superhero in the MCU, but... They do play him as a human. He does not have super abilities. He has tech.
Yeah. So going back to the John Walker point, I don't think he's necessarily forgiven, but there are people that had seen some of his positive actions. And U.S. Agent, I don't think, is endorsed by the government. They made a point of making it seem like he's working directly for Val, not for the government or anything like that, and that they would find ways to use his skills that may presumably support government actions or something like that. She's basically using him as a weapon.
Yeah, he's going to be a mercenary, and I think they're doing it this way to where he'll be slowly indoctrinated into being basically the Hydra agent, because he's still thinking of himself as a good guy. Where, if I remember correctly, even from the get-go, John Walker in the comics was just a straight douchebag out the gate. Like, he was awful, and they did give this John Walker a little more like humanity, a little more heart. I mean, the fact that like he's got the was it the Golden Cross from the Medal of Honor that him and Lamar won is like inside of that shield. But then like, you see the scene where like the hostages are burning one truck and he ignores them to go attack Carly. But then the next scene, it's like, well, I can either chase her down or save the people in the truck. And he decides, fuck it. And he tosses his shield and then tries to grab the truck. It's like, okay, he does sometimes make the right decision. He's not Steve Rogers. He's not, like the perfect fucking hero. But given the opportunity, sometimes John Walker will make the right decision in the heat of the moment, even with the serum coursing through his veins. I think they tried to go a little more. They try to make him a little more of a good guy than he is in the comics.
I think Will, you're muted, by the way, but I think we need to make a distinction between John Walker of the MCU versus John Walker of the comics. John Walker in the MCU, he's not a bad man. He's a traumatized man. He's a traumatized,
traumatized soldier.
And then they put this mantle on him, which is you've got to live up to being Steve Effin Rogers, the paragon of American virtue in a lot of people's eyes. The perfect
soldier.
The perfect soldier, but more importantly, how Escarin saw him was the good man, which is what they don't know there. And so he's got to live with all of that of, holy shit, I've got to live up to this legacy. Then I'm getting shown up by Sam and Bucky. I'm trying to do the right thing here. I'm trying to be this man getting shown up, and pricks his ego a little bit. So he takes the serum because he sees that.
Because then it wasn't just being showed up by them. He got beat by women.
Yeah. Well, he got beat
and when
by...
he tells Lamar they weren't even super soldiers.
Because
I think
I think we need to make a distinction. We need to make a distinction. It's not the fact necessarily that they were women. It's the fact he got his ass handed to him by well-trained soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
he
mean,
never said by
the
women.
dorm. Yeah, but like the Dora Milaje, because he says they weren't even super soldiers. He's like, those are just female warriors, soldiers. They are badasses. But he's like, they're not even super soldiers. I think it's from that scene to the next is when you see the shield when he throws it goes through a wall. Because after that scene, he takes the serum. Because he's like regular, just well-trained soldiers with staffs. Not fucking guns, not bombs, fucking sticks. Kicked my ass, and I'm supposed to be Captain America.
Yeah. So I don't think he's necessarily a bad person in the MCU. He's someone that had a ridiculous amount of expectations on him, and his mental health was probably not the best to begin with. As they hint at in there, that he's been through some shit, and he's traumatized. Yeah. So the fact that he takes the serum, it's like Eskrin said in the first Captain America, it's going to accentuate all of your characteristics and qualities. So
yeah, well, and I love that because he talks about with Lamar too, because Lamar's like, it just makes you more of what you already are. So if you're already a good person, you just become better. John Walker is a good soldier, but he is a traumatized veteran who has gone through some shit. And because he hasn't dealt with that, it actually makes all of that worse.
Yeah. So the John Walker we have here in the MCU, he's not a bad person. He's just really screwed up. And he's trying to power through it and arguably not necessarily take care of it the right way, which is trying to find help to deal with it, but dedicating himself to his mission, and here's what needs to be done. So he's not a bad person, but he's crumbling under the stress of everything. And I think that's
he even goes even further than that and makes it even worse by taking someone who needs the therapy and takes him out of it. Bucky.
Oh, Bucky.
Said, oh, yeah, he doesn't have to go to that no more. You're welcome.
Well, I mean, that's a little different, too, because, I mean, Bucky's not going through the exact type of therapy that, like, Sam did, which I also love the fact that it comes back around multiple times in the series, the fact that, like, Sam talked to fucking combat vets. Like, that used to be his job, was dealing with people with trauma. And, like, I love the end speech where it's him and Bucky talking. He's like, you ready for some tough love? He's like, I'm going to tell you what you fucking need to do. 70 years worth of assassinating people is in your head fucking with your memories. And I can help you get through it if you're willing to do the work. And I love that because it was something they could have glanced over from the movies. They could have forgot the fact that Sam Wilson talked and like helped counsel fucking veterans from wars. So like it could also be something where eventually if we do a Cap 4 and we see John Walker's U.S. agent like going more and more crazy, how cool would it be to see the second season in Captain America and Winter Soldier and they go to help John Walker? And it's literally Sam trying to talk him down the way he tried to talk Carly Morgenthau down. Like, that would be an awesome way to use that character the way they've written him in the MCU.
Yeah, and Sam's first move isn't to escalate. It's what we've seen throughout this. It's to try and emphasize and try and talk people down from doing things, and fighting is the last resort. Whereas Walker is seemingly, and to Bucky to a lesser extent too, first action was, okay, we're going to fight about this.
Yeah, punch first, talk later.
There's different mindsets and things. I will say this, the series we've gotten from Marvel so far on Disney Plus, they're not shying away from the fact that being a superhero is goddamn traumatic. The things that happen to people when they're involved in this, they've got shit they've got to deal with. And the movies didn't really gloss over it either, but you didn't really get a great look at it until later on in the Marvel movies, starting with around like Iron Man 3 time frame, where you get Tony dealing with all the shit that's happened to him. And
the little version of Demon in a Bottle.
Little version of Demon in a Bottle. And then you get more of it, especially in Endgame, when Thor's just fucking wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about, as they call it now, post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, like, literally, Thor in that movie is a fucking war veteran dealing with fucking shell shock. Like, he even killed somebody, and it still wasn't, like, he still didn't save the day like he thought he was supposed to. Like, they still lost half the universe. Like, how the fuck do you deal with that? Like, yeah, they did that really well with him.
And I think that's something you have to give them credit for as these have all evolved, is they're not looking past the fact that the things that these guys have had to do and be involved in, it's traumatic as hell. Like, you could argue the first two phases of the MCU, it's kind of like, okay, they're just being superheroes and we're not really seeing much of the fallout from that. And then it's, oh yeah, there's a human cost. And these MCU series, WandaVision and Falcon, have really delved into that human cost and kind of make you understand that these people are they're not well to an extent.
And if you want to talk about giving credit, huge credit to Disney for whoever it was that decided to add in the Truth Captain America miniseries into the Falcon and Winter Soldier story and add Isaiah Bradley to the MCU. Mm-hmm. The fact that, before we test a serum like this on, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy that we think is going to be perfect, let's test it on some black soldiers first and not tell them what we're doing, because we're the U.S. government and that's how we like to use people. Like, the fact that they brought in the true storyline of the original Captain America and actually introduced Isaiah Bradley to the MCU, that's fucking ballsy. Like, they didn't have to do that. They could have skipped over all of that shit and been like, it's a little too touchy subject right now. And they're like, no, Sam is fucking dealing with everything that comes with, like Bucky said, when me and Steve talked and he gave you the shield, we didn't know what it meant for a black man to carry that shield. How could we? Mm-hmm. Bucky says it blatantly in the show. He's like, there's no fucking way we could know what it means for you to carry the shield. And by the end of that show, he's carrying that fucking shield. He is Captain America.
He's Captain
and that
Falcon.
Says
Are you Captain Falcon?
Yeah. It's Black Falcon. Do I call you Black Kid? It's just Falcon. Like they delved hard into that, and some of it's like Willie said, hit them over the head with it, but the fact that they didn't shy away from it was really impressive, because as a corporation, Disney could have been like, let's not mention the Isaiah Bradley torture, 30 years in prison stuff. That's like, no, that's part of the character. That's part of the history of that shield. That's part of the history of Captain America. That this government fucked people over.
And from what I recall from interviews and news stories that came out around the same time that Isaiah was introduced in the series, it was, no, we didn't get any pushback when we said we wanted to bring Isaiah Bradley into this. It was, okay, do it.
Nice. But yeah, I'm glad they did. Because having that character added into the MCU mythos is fantastic, because he should be there. Well, because that's what the U.S. government would have done at the time.
And from a storytelling standpoint, you can set it up for a Young Avengers tie-in too, with his grandson featuring so prominently.
Yeah, Patriot Lad or whatever his name is.
Patriot, I think is just his name. So they can pay an homage to past stories and then also set future things up for Young Avengers, which everyone seems to think is coming, seeing as they're doing.
Well, we got Speed and Wiccan.
Yeah, we got Speed and Wiccan. We're about to have the new Hawkeye. We're about to have Cassie Lang as Stature supposedly in the next Ant-Man movie.
Oh shit! And we're about to get King the Conqueror, which leads to it's Iron Lad.
Iron Lad.
Because it's Patriot and Iron Lad. I knew there was a lad in there somewhere in the Young Avengers. And poor Wiccan, they had to change his name because you can't have a gay character and name him Asgardian. It just doesn't work.
Well, and I think we may not get the Iron Lad character, but they'll introduce Kang otherwise, because they're about to do the Riri Williams Ironheart series on Disney+. So I think she may take the place of the Iron Lad character in Young Avengers. We'll have to figure out how to put Kang in there differently.
How far in the future are we talking about these?
What? You mean the Young Avengers?
Yeah.
Presumably.
It sounded like you were talking about the Ironheart thing. It sounded like you were talking about they already... got it going.
There's a series greenlit, I believe, on Disney Plus for it already.
Oh, so it's just greenlit. Nothing's.
Yeah, nothing.
It's probably 2 years out.
Concrete, no cast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably 2 or 3 years out
on it.
I don't know exactly what the time frame is, and they've already announced that Cassie Lang's going to be in the new Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Presumably, she'll get a super suit too, which will then tie into Young Avengers. So they're doing a pretty good job of moving forward into that. And if you believe some of the leaks that have come out, which I don't know that I necessarily believe all of them, but I believe this aspect, part of what happens at the end of the Hawkeye series is Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye retires for real, which would sort of make sense because he'll have trained his replacement. That doesn't mean you can't bring him back for some big event, but for the most part, Hawkeye is now going to be Kate Bishop, who's awesome fucking character, by the way.
She's all right in the Avengers game.
Read the comics with Kate Bishop. She's awesome.
I was making a joke about the Avengers game.
Okay, that's fair.
That game is a joke.
Oh, it's on sale again right now if anyone wants to buy it. But that's neither here nor there. Falcon and Winter Soldier wrapped. It's renamed Captain America and Winter Soldier. I enjoyed it a good deal. I'm curious to see where they go with it next. I think we're waiting until June for the next Marvel series.
Which is What If?
No, it's Loki.
Okay.
Then I think What If's after that.
Okay.
And then the next Disney Plus new series, I think, is May 4th, The Bad Batch. They're going to start releasing that and dropping them weekly, if I remember correctly, excuse me. So we got a couple weeks break basically until new content on the Marvel/Star Wars front drops. I think the way they've got it set up is basically between now and the end of the year, there's, other than a couple weeks here and there, new Marvel or Star Wars content once a week, which is kind of cool. Willie, I doubt you're going to care much about Bad Batch, but
I'm not going to do that joke.
I don't even know what joke you're going for, but I'm probably glad that you didn't. Before we wrap up the news, anyone else have anything they wanted to say? Final thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier?
It was all right.
I dug it. I love the fact that, it was basically, you got the whole season just leading up to Sam actually being Cap, which that was fantastic. The way they did that was really good. And I loved his actual speech to the GRC at the end.
It was very Captain America-y. If you've read the comics, it's the exact same kind of thing they do in the comics. I can understand how some people would feel it was hokey or forced, but it's always been that way in the comics too.
Comics.
Yeah, Cap, regardless of whether it's Sam or Steve, things like that, they're a character that can lecture to others and do so. And lecture makes it almost sound like I'm taking a shot. That's not my intent, but speak openly to others about how their assumptions are flawed or something like that is what we're looking to do. But that does wrap up our news of the week. We are running a little long, although short on recording time. We got in the top of the show. So we'll wrap up.
Technical difficulty.
Thank you, Microsoft.
Yeah, thanks, Windows updates. So we will wrap up the show in the traditional way we normally do. It's a segment called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys just what kind of geeky or nerdy things we've been getting into so that you may go check them out yourselves. Mr. Willie D. Nelson, why don't you kick us off this week?
It's all about three things: Invincible. If you haven't watched, if you're not caught up, catch up. Do it now. It's not a request.
You have a week.
Yeah. And then watch the final episode. That's all there is to it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you have an argument against me with this, bring it to Twitter at South Porky. I will tell you where you're wrong. Or just, think you're wrong and move along with my day. But this is important. I will say Captain America and Winter Soldier did remind me a little bit at the very end when Zemo's butler kind of blew some people up.
He takes out the remaining Flag Smasher super soldiers.
Yeah, it reminded me of Invincible, the comic, after during the funeral for the Guardians of the Globe. The suit that was made for Black Samson? Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Or is it just Samson?
I think he's Black Samson in Invincible.
That was a joke, a carryback.
Do I call you Black Kid?
No. But I like how in the comic, during the funeral, Black Samson's butler gets a hold of that suit and starts wrecking shop at the funeral. It kind of just made me think of that. So, I've been playing a Switch game, just got a couple hours ago. Been enjoying it, called Billion Road. It's a cross between Monopoly and Dokapon Kingdom. If you don't know what Dokapon Kingdom is, I would not advise to go try and find to get it, because the version for the Wii, which is the only version brought to America, well, there is a PS2 version, but why would you want to get that when there's the Wii version, is about $180 right now.
Whoa, that's a bit pricey.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Although, no, actually, I saw one that was still sealed inside of like one of those anti-theft like plastic cases. That one was selling for $6,000 on eBay.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah,
that's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, this game was just fun, and I want more people to enjoy it, but I can't justify it for that cost. It is a fun game, which is just like a Mario Party mixed with D&D, which is pretty much, that's the basic description of it. So, but this game is pretty much taking Monopoly and that Dokapon Kingdom and putting them together. and I've been going through it and getting pissed at the AI because the dice rolls are bullshit and they know it. They're cheating, the little sons of bitches. There's no way they can always get it to the exact spot every single time. You hear me over there? Yeah, you look at me in shame.
They don't hear you.
Blue and red controller face. Yeah. But other than that, watched Mortal Kombat, thought it was a good movie. Damn good. I went in with low expectations and was pleasantly surprised.
I think that's what hurt me. I had my expectations a little too high. I should have just remembered video game movie and then set them at the low bar.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope we do get one good video game movie. I think, was it coming out this year or next year? I can't remember. But I hope Uncharted is going to be good. It's got Tom Holland in it, but it also has Marky Mark.
I guess if we're talking video game movies, I will say that Mortal Kombat's better than Monster Hunter. I can give it that.
It's not really a high bar to cross.
No, it's not a high bar, but it's still better than Monster Hunter.
Streaming this month, I did also watch The New Mutants.
Yeah, talk about a low bar.
I am so happy I did not pay to rent it. I was going to, and I'm so happy I didn't.
Yeah, that movie is not good.
Static. It is terrible. Don't watch it. That's my review of that. Don't watch it.
Yeah, it's now free on HBO Max. I've seen it, and I'm actually not mad that that's the one that broke the streak. Because if I'd have paid to see that in the theater, I'd have been pissed.
Especially if you paid to see that in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, if I paid to see that in the theater during a pandemic, I'd have been mad as hell.
And caught it. That would maybe even it. I caught COVID for this shit.
No, it would be like, I deserve to catch COVID for this shit. What was I thinking?
That's fair, but hey, remember, streaks are made to be broken.
That's true.
It's true. It's true indeed.
Wasn't supposed to be prolific. Don't make it sound like that.
Willie, just take the W and move on.
Yeah, we know you don't like prophylactic.
Something I would do?
Take the dub.
Does that sound like something I would do?
Ideally.
What about my history makes you think I would? Exactly.
Right.
Move on.
What else are we getting into?
I'm done.
You're done. All right, I'm going to go next. It's not a huge list here. I picked up, because it was on Game Pass, I was playing the last installment of Madden to do the Face the Franchise mode, which is actually kind of cool because you start out as a kid in high school, work your way through high school to get into college, then you go from college to being in the NFL and try and have a Hall of Fame career. So it's actually pretty cool.
Holy.
And they set up like scenarios and stuff for you where like, oh, your competition for the quarterback position's doing such and such, and you have to make decisions as things go through. So it's kind of like a light RPG version of playing Madden where you actually still play football in between. It was on Game Pass, so I figured, what the hell. I also have restarted playing, because I love this game a ton, BioShock Infinite. It's one of my favorite games, that and the original BioShock. I had forgotten that I'd bought the BioShock collection when it was on sale for like $15 on a Microsoft sale. And it gave me the free upgrades to the next-gen release that they did on the Xbox One when they did the updates. But what's really kind of cool for the Xbox Series X that I'm playing on, excuse me, is that this is one of the ones that they have enabled auto HDR on for it. So the game was not built with HDR in mind, but they basically have an algorithm that runs on there that changes lighting effects to actually work with the high dynamic resolution. And it actually works really well for the most part in that game. So I've been enjoying that one. And my wife had started playing Fallout 4, in which they've enabled the FPS boost option on it. So Fallout 4 is now 60 frames per second on Xbox Series S and X, which is kind of cool. Willie, you're not a fan of Fallout 4?
Oh, you mean find this bug, find that bug, all bugs all around?
They patched most of that out.
You mean Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, I'm sure they patch all that out.
Willie, that game's old as hell.
And another thing, Bachman, that's a game as a service. That's a whole nother genre where bugs are kind of, because they're constantly changing it. It's not like they put it out
bugs,
and this is supposed to be what it's supposed to be.
Dead by Daylight at all.
Hey, I mean, I'm sure coders out there, they know if you go changing some things or adding some things, it's going to mess up some previous things. That's just the nature of the beast.
And yet they keep adding new things and never going back and fixing the things that they've already made problems.
Yeah, how come when I start healing someone, it pulls me off of them and I have to push it again? Like,
Yeah,
I
the
will say
auto
that.
block
That's
heal thing has been a bug for like 6 months, and they haven't fixed that in DBD. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's been years for me. What do you mean 6 months?
I think I remember seeing about 6-7 months ago that started on my characters.
It's been doing it to me for years.
So Willie's going to be mad at me about this. I did pre-order a game. I'm sorry, Willie, but it's one that we all knew I was going to play.
You're going to be angry at yourself.
No, we all knew I was going to play it anyways. It's the Mass Effect franchise, the trilogy 3-pack when it comes out.
Oh, no, I retract what I just said. No, I am angry at you because you pre-ordered an EA game.
Yeah, it's Mass Effect. I already told you.
Now you can go fuck yourself.
Hold on. I've said on this show multiple times that when it comes to Mass Effect, my logic goes out the window because I love that franchise so much. So, yeah, I bought it. I got it for 10% off on the pre-order because I'm a Game Pass member, which has the EA service in it. And I was originally going to hold off and wait to buy it on disc, and Willie's mocking me as I do this for anyone without the video. I did find out that when it comes out on disc, it'll be a 2-disc set, and that annoyed me, so I bought the digital version so I don't have to swap discs.
There you go.
Wait, do you guys hear that? You hear that slurping sound coming from Chris? Oh yeah, EA's getting it good from Chris.
I already told you, man. It was massive.
EA's like, man, you showed me what that mouth do.
I can't give Chris shit now because that way he won't give me shit later when I pre-order Anthem 2.
I can't. They're never going to make it.
That won't stop me from pre-ordering it, Chris.
Look, it's Mass Effect.
Really?
You guys know when it comes to Mass Effect, for me, I'm buying it regardless of what happens, regardless of my feelings on EA. And I've said that before on this show. I love that series. It's one of my favorite series of games of all time.
I do want to get that Legendary Collection. I'm trying to remember, do we know if they're doing that for PS5 or is it only going to be PS4 or Xbox?
It is technically a PS4/Xbox One game that is then forwards compatible on PS5 and Xbox Series line. So you'll be able to play it on either the current gen or the last gen consoles.
That might be one once it hits the gold sales standard or whatever and becomes a $20 game. Like that'll be a solid trilogy to pick up for $20 to play on the PS5.
Solid trilogy with all the DLC. So you're talking 40 different pieces of DLC across 3 games. I'm a big fan of it. I know Willie hates Electronic Arts, and in most cases I'm anti-EA, but I love this game.
Since I've paid EA any money. It's been over a year.
You don't have to give EA any money because I gave them money for a game that I love.
Yeah, no shit.
That he already owns.
Yeah, but it's not 4K.
A couple of times probably.
Yeah.
No, I've only bought each game once.
Hey, I just bought, the compendiums for Invincible on digital. Like that's technically the 3rd time I bought all of those stories.
See?
When you love something, sometimes you buy it more than once.
It's all remastered, so my versions aren't the same as this.
Yeah, so they can have all new bugs with the old.
But the Mass Effect games weren't really super buggy, Willie.
Yeah, because they fixed that face thing in the 3rd one, right?
Yeah, the import fixed the 3rd one. Yeah, they did.
They did.
There was a fan-made fix for it.
The break it. You're thinking of a different issue, I think, in Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when he said face in Mass Effect, what else am I supposed to think about?
The game in which it was a problem.
Shut up, Chris.
Willie's salty because I decided to buy a game.
Yeah,
I love it. What else have I been getting into? I don't know. All sorts of stuff. I've got real life crap I've got to take care of that comes with owning a house. So I've got some guys coming out to give me quotes on some repairs because I don't want to do them and I'm lazy.
Yucks.
And then I did simple things like fix toilets.
Do it.
Why would EA come fix my deck?
Because you gave them so much money?
I misheard you say duck.
That's what I've been getting into. Anthony Bachman.
Yep.
Sir, what have you been getting into?
Getting caught up on the shows. Yeah, I watched the finale of Falcon Winter Soldier. Really enjoyed it. And then sat down with the girlfriend yesterday. She was rewatching it from the beginning because she had missed some stuff. So we actually sat and watched the whole show yesterday, basically start to finish, and got to finale. Enjoyed that. We ended up actually watching, I think, the first 4 episodes of Yellowstone. It was one we had wanted to watch and kept hearing about it. Bought the first season on Prime, and yeah, stayed up till like damn near 3 a.m. just fucking binging that. As went from it's like, oh, we'll watch the pilot. It's like an hour and a half long episode. It's a almost a movie sized pilot for the first episode. Watched that, and then we watched 3 more episodes afterwards before we finally went. It's like, okay, it's time to go to bed. It's way fucking late. But yeah, solid fucking show. Kevin Costner running like a giant ranch in Bozeman, Montana, and basically his family just runs the whole fucking city, and like no one gets away with anything. And then jokingly, one of his kids has like 1 kill per episode, I think, for the average that we've been watching, because just motherfuckers randomly dying or people being shot all the time in this show. It's violent as hell. But yeah, really good show. I mean, I heard someone talk about it and say it was like the New Age Dallas, and it is. Like, it's it's a crazy drama about a cattle ranch. But yeah, it's really good writing, really good acting, really entertaining so far. We're halfway through the first season in one night, so I'm excited to see where it goes. And I think there's 2 more seasons after this, and they started the 4th, so it'll be fun to catch up on that. But yeah, I bought on Prime because I don't have Paramount Plus and don't have the paid version of Peacock, which I guess is the only other 2 places to watch it. So watched half of that, and then I got caught up on Invincible. Really looking forward to Friday to see the finale. Basically, once the cartoon started, I think about the 2nd episode in, I realized that they were going to shift the timeline a little bit in comparison to what happens in the comics along the way to what's going to be the season 1 finale. Is an event that in the comics took place a lot earlier than the storyline is so far in the cartoon. But the way they reshifted the timeline to make it to where the big event, I'll say, becomes the finale for season 1. I kind of like how they did that, because like it's gonna be a hell of a lot of payoff for stuff you've seen since technically the post-credit scene of the first episode, where you saw Omni-Man kill the Guardians of the Globe. You're gonna get the payoff of all of that basically at the start of the finale. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens on that this Friday. And then today I got something to build, because thanks to Julian Lytle and Wario64, I was forced to buy something because I've always wanted an arcade game in my house.
They twisted your arm so hard, I'm sure.
They twisted them both. It was ridiculous. It was like being put in a crucifix and being elbowed in the face at the same time. It was awful. But yeah, I got a little box behind me. I have a Marvel arcade 1-up, where this is sitting in the living room to be put together later. This is just the empty box, but like it's a big bastard of a box. It contains 4 video games in one system, but it is an arcade stand-up of X-Men versus Street Fighter that contains X-Men versus Capcom, Capcom versus Marvel, and 2 of the other X-Men games, all in one stand-up that I'm going to build today. So my Sunday's already
those
planned.
Titles were right.
Whatever, I don't care. It's got 4 video games in it. I'm excited.
There's Street Fighter versus X-Men, and there's Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't.
He basically said something close to that.
I basically said the words. All right, Ash Williams.
Exactly.
There's worse things to call me. I'll take it.
You know what? You know what this is right here? This is
Ash
my
Williams
goddamn
is a
boomstick.
compliment.
This is my goddamn boomstick right here, because this is a
Looks like
boomstick I
boom
wanted.
box.
And yeah, I'm super excited to put this sucker
I
together
didn't mean
today.
that. I didn't mean for that. I hate myself. I didn't mean it.
You should hate yourself. But yeah, I'm excited to put this sucker together today. Make sure, because I got a 3-year warranty on it. But yeah, it was on sale for at Walmart for like $150 off. I got 2 stools to go with it. It's got Thanos holding the Infinity Gauntlet glove. So like those look nice. They're already in the garage. We got to put this together just to make sure it works, and then it'll probably go into storage. Because yeah, I have an arcade. I've always wanted an arcade game in my house. Now I have an arcade game, and so now I need to buy a house. Because yeah, I need a house to put it in. But yeah, I've got me an arcade game.
The only
I'm
thing
so
with those,
fucking excited.
The only thing with those arcade 1-ups is they're kind of low to the ground, unless you get like the riser with it, because you can buy any one.
This one comes with a custom riser.
Oh, nice.
That's included with it, so it has the extra height. So it's probably still, because yeah, they're not the little $50 arcade games, but they're also, it's not a full size cabinet that you would find in an arcade. It's basically like I would say like a 70 to 80% size version.
I was gonna say
of
like
a full-size
2/3
one.
scale, which I think that jives with what you're saying.
Yeah, so they're a little bit smaller, but yeah, this one comes with the custom riser, and I got the stools. So yeah, I won't be standing in front of it at 6'1", But I mean, I can also add to the customizer. I might end up just making it a little bit taller my damn self once it's in the house. Plus, I do love the fact, like, I looked at the instructions, it has, straps on the back of it that are designed to basically zip tie it to a wall because it is slightly smaller. You could move it around if you're actually shaking it and you don't want to like shake it, knock it over. So yeah, it is set up to be stabilized once it is in a permanent position. And I'll tell you, man, it is fucking heavy though. Like pulling out the little side pieces that's just the artwork of X-Men versus Street Fighter, like the side panels that are covered in gorgeous artwork, they are goddamn heavy. So like this will be a beefy little unit once it's put together. The box itself was not light. Like it's got some weight to it. So it'll be fun to put that together. Yeah, I'll be playing with that hopefully later this afternoon. So that's what I've been getting into.
Bachman.
Yeah.
Home is not a house. Home is where the heart is.
Yes, true. And home is here for now, and I love it. But we are going to get a house. And then I will have an arcade game in the house. And I promised my girlfriend, because I have my arcade game, she gets a pinball machine. So we're going to have a arcade room.
Which pinball machine, though?
I don't know. Because, yeah, it's time to look on eBay for pinball machines. Thousands. There's thousands of pinball machines.
Yeah.
I've seen a video, since you brought this up, Chris, of the best pinball table they had. And it uses technology because it's a virtual pinball machine.
I think
but the way they set it up is it is in 3D because it somehow tracks your position of your eyes, and it knows how you're looking at it. So it moves the image accordingly. And
that's kind of cool.
And it also has the virtual backboard with all the score and everything, the scoreboard, along with the table, 2 separate screens. I would have to look it back up because I saw that a while back. It was interesting as hell. The cost, couldn't tell you. Yeah. Don't even want to think about it.
I mean, I was more curious in regards to pinball machine. I was more curious as was like one of the more old school ones. It's more mechanical, or like some of the newer stuff you have now that has a lot of like electronics in it to make it work.
I think we're going to go more old school.
Nice. That's what
some of the actual flippers. Big bells and whistles. Actual glass that needs to be cleaned.
Get the ATGN one.
There's a 18. If you search for pinballs on eBay, there's 18,000 results. Yeah. So there's a couple different pinball machines.
So if you want to see some cool stuff,
don't get the KISS one.
Yeah, don't get that
one.
No,
we're not getting the KISS.
If you want to see some cool stuff for pinball, I think the channel is called Drop Flip on Twitch. It's a guy that's basically set it up with different cameras and stuff so that he can record himself playing on pinball machines and like gives advice and lessons on how to best play pinball. The logic of it and how the move drop flip is actually a maneuver used when playing pinball. I've only watched a couple things here and there.
What?
Drop flip.
Drop flip. Oh, I didn't know there was a Rick. I didn't know there was a Rick and Morty pinball machine.
Oh, there's a Rick and Morty.
There's a pinball machine for everything.
Yeah.
Nice.
Barcades are still popular.
Well, they will be when they reopen. At
least.
Oh,
you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. You can play Killer Queens at the barcade, and it's a lot of fun if you get a good group together. Neither here nor there. Before we move on, though, Bachman, and we hope you do share some photos of construction on your Instagram or something of the.
I will be taking photos today as I put it together. There will be photos.
If there's any injuries that result as part of the manufacturing process, please include those. Like smashed my thumb, expletive.
Yeah, here's the picture where I cut my finger open on the screwdriver.
I'm hoping. All right. I'm gonna set the poll for broken toe. 20 on that.
20 on broken toe. I like that one though. That's I don't want to bet against that.
I think I'm gonna go put some shoes on. I don't want a broken toe.
God damn it! All right, I'm going.
I gotta work this week, man. I gotta pay the power bill.
It's still gonna break his toe.
I gotta pay the power bill for this arcade machine I'm about to build.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's just a little LCD display and a small, like, Raspberry Pi, I think, inside or something.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. A Raspberry. Put more games on it.
Well, that's I already saw online that you can upgrade these and then mod them to add basically a bunch of games. Like one of the first reviews I saw of it, someone had added another X-Men game to it.
You need to get the classic X-Men arcade game on there somehow.
Children of the Atom. See, I come with actual correct titles.
Congratulations, Willie. You successfully said the correct title of a video game. We want to give you 2 thumbs up.
Congratulate me for the real thing, and that's not sucking EA's dick.
Children of the Atom is on it.
What other X-Men game, arcade game is there?
Yeah, that's the only one I need. Yeah, I got X-Men versus Street Fighter and X-Men Children of the Atom. I'm good.
No, he's good.
Street Fighter versus X-Men. And
Whatever.
In that order.
Chun-Li versus Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler wasn't in that.
So what?
Well, on that note, we are going to start shutting things down. A friendly reminder to everyone who's watching live right now. We do stream live on geeks.live each week, Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. If you're there right now, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page. You can see a calendar of all of the upcoming live events. I do believe around 5 p.m. Eastern today will be the recording of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they discuss the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Shut down.
Captain America and Winter Soldier.
It is not
until you
renamed
get to the
until
end
you finish
credits.
the show.
That's true.
That is in retroactively. I don't even care anymore.
If you go on Disney Plus, what does it say the show is called, Willie?
It says Duck. That's D-Y-U-C-K. And the U has an umlaut, goddammit.
Umlaut.
Congratulations on using a big word. Big word bonus on that one. I like it.
It's a $10 goddamn word, and I got my money's worth.
There you
Nice.
go. We will be back next Sunday for more of our typical geeky horseshit shenanigans and ridiculousness. But before we shut this thing down, did you guys have any final thoughts you wanted to share with the listeners/viewers?
Peace amongst
No.
wolves.
Well, Willie has nothing he wants to share. So we're going to shut this thing down and say thank you so much for everyone who did join us this week. And we look forward to seeing you all next week as we get into more insanity. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.